another clip which shows a different group of educators in Michelle's centre having an opportunity to reflect on their practice and assess their practice in the room.
So at the moment we have some information on the dummies available to parents. Do we feel like
there's been much response?
Yeah.
I haven't. Have you seen anyone take that?
I mean, one of the parents came and talked to us about it the other day, Sarah, and gave us some feedback on it, and they were using that information to see how they could use it with their child.
Yeah,
so it's
a child.
So some parents have been quite responsive, and I know that another couple of families have taken that as well.
Okay. So we'll just see how it goes in the next few weeks if we notice that anyone's actually coming back and saying that they're either weaning them off totally or
Even helping them.
yeah, or just trying to at least get them to not use it as much, because the research, like said in this statement, saying that overuse is when like speech problems occur. And that I've also noticed, like with one of our child's, they're walking because they're off balance. Apparently dummies, you get ear infections a lot from dummies, and that could be the off key.
Definitely, it could be
when
something
she's
to
walking.
talk to the parents about, so we're both on board with that.
Yep.
Michelle, would you like to comment on the clip we just saw in the room?
Yeah, it's a wonderful example, I think, of how educators can engage in these discussions in everyday practice. I know that, there are you hear lots of discussion in the sector saying that we're too busy, we haven't got time, and there's not an opportunity. But I think this is a really clear example about how it can happen in the moment. There was a child up, there were children resting, and it's about the team committed to make that time to sit down and talk. And it doesn't have to be an hour meeting. It might only be 10 minutes, or it may be 15 minutes, but it's about providing the opportunity. And you'd also notice that the educators there had a notebook and they were taking notes. So that's really important, so that they can then go back, whether it be that night or the next week, and sit down and then reflect on their reflective session.
Michelle, can you tell us about a major change to practice that has happened as a result of self-assessment, group assessment and thinking about practice?
Yes, we have had a big change, Anne, in terms of progressive lunch and the way that we have our lunch experiences. Before, at probably about 12 to 18 months ago, at Gary at Docklands, we used to have lunch and we'd come together and meet together. So there would be an educator with 4 to 6 children, and so there may have been, maybe 3 or 4 tables set up. And what we noticed more and more, that this routine was becoming more stressful, really loud, and really wasn't lending to the experience that we wanted for children. So we wanted to really promote a calm, relaxed, that children could just flow in and out. So we started talking to the educators about how we could do this differently. I do remember one of my educators, I was quite new to Gary at that stage, and she thought, what a crazy manager. This is a really busy routine and she wants to drag it out even more. So, and she often will come back and just say that now her practice has changed. She would never change that back again. So what we do is that in each of the rooms we have a small table. So the activities are still, the program is still fully operational, both indoor and outdoor. And where most services would practice with a progressive morning tea, this is what we do with lunch. So it's just a table with an educator, and children will flow in and out, and they will come to the table to eat when they're hungry, rather than being told it's 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock.
So how does that change in practice reflect the Early Years Learning Framework and the National Quality Standard, do you think?
Well, I think that respects children first and foremost, and we believe that children are capable and competent learners, and that if we provide them with the environment that they can choose and make choice, that's what we want to do. We want to develop children to make these choices and learn about how they make these choices. So you also, in our routine where we have the beds, they're accessible, so that children, if they're tired, they can go and get their bed and they can lay down. So what we have, like in terms of the meals, is that we will have food out, basically. If it's morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, there's always food there. Children also bring in fruit, so there's always food accessible to children, so that they're not eating based on a routine. They're eating and they're learning to eat based on their need, you know, whether they're hungry or not. Some of these children come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, some don't come in till 10. So how is it that as educators we say it's 11:30, you're all hungry, you all need to come and eat? You know, I think what it is that at Gowrie, the educators are very clear that children are capable and competent of making these decisions, and that when we respect them to make these decisions, you know, we just have so much more of a smoother day rather than controlling a child's world.
Great. Well, this would be a good chance to have a look at a video clip of a progressive lunch happening in one of the rooms at Michelle Centre.
Yeah, you can come and sit down. You need to wash your hands, okay? All right, we need to wash our hands. Wash your hands in the bathroom and use the hand dry in the bathroom.
I want my hands.
Fantastic. You can get a plate. Get a plate, spoon and a glass. All right, you can get a piece of bread. There's some potato. Here's your meat. Yep. Yep. The cups are behind me.
I don't want.
Did you want the meat? Yeah? I'm sure Magnus could push it towards you. Yep. See? Fantastic. Yep. Oh, fantastic. Did you? Great. That's all right, Magnus. Good job. Magnus, stop. Do you think you're going to eat all of that, Magnus? We can still talk to our friends while they're painting.
But why is it there now?
Well, it's on that spot particularly because if the paint drips on the floor, then we can wipe it up.
Michelle, when you were describing that big change from a set lunch routine to a progressive lunch routine, you mentioned that it took some time. Why was it important to allow time for that to happen? Why didn't you just tell them it was going to happen?
Well, I think, you know, something that I really promote is about shared decision making. So whether it's with the children, whether it's with the families, whether it's with the educators, you know, as a manager of the centre, you really have to promote that shared decision making. And so, you know, when educators feel that they are also in control and part of that decision, then you're going to get that stronger sense of commitment and that stronger sense of ownership. And, you know, they're adults, you know, we don't want to be telling people what to do. We want to promote a culture of learners, and that they are in control also of their decision making. And it might not look the same. Whilst we have progressive lunch in each of the rooms, it might look a little bit different in rooms, but we need to allow time for educators to think through that. And I know some of them picked it up really quickly and ran with it. So within a month or 2 months it was in, it was operating, it was like overnight. Some of them took months, some of them took 10 months, you know. So it's really, it is about acknowledging that educators need time as well, time to think and time to process that.
Michelle, we've talked about how assessment and reflective practice has made a difference for children in the centre. Has it made a difference for the educators as well?
Yes, it has. And I think being at Gowrie Victoria for 2 years now, I've had the opportunity to work with a range of, I work quite closely with the leaders, and I have seen some huge advancements there for these leaders in terms of their confidence, where they're heading, their vision, the way that they lead their own teams. So I think it's, you know, it's really about sitting down, supporting them, listening to them, you know, promoting a culture where it's a learning environment so that it's okay to make mistakes and that we all learn from those things, and that we're there to support each other, and that there is such range of great professional development opportunities out there for educators these days to help them to grow.